we are joined here with the wonderful Judith. And Judith, thank you so much for joining me as part of our 2020 series, being a champion of change and being able to, I guess, inspire other women to be able to do exactly the same, whether that just be in life, in their relationship, in their business, wherever it, I guess, may lead in terms of their dreams. So for our viewers and our listeners, this is Judith. We're joined here with Judith, who is a wife to Roy and has got 2 kids, Max and Joe. And in case that wasn't enough, being a wife, a mum, juggling all the things, she's also the founder and owner of The Confident Eater, which we will, of course, hear more about soon. Judith, I am again so grateful to have you here, and thank you for taking the time to share your story with us and some advice and some insight. I'm really looking forward to hearing a bit more about your business, about your journey, and being able to, share this with others out there as well. So awesome. I will stop and hand it all over to you. And I guess to get started, I would love to know a little bit more about, yourself in terms of who you are, as well as a little bit about your business.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on. It's really exciting to be here. All right, I'll give you the potted history because it's actually it's quite interesting. So I was originally brought up in a depressed northern English town. And at 17, my mother told me, Judith, when you turn 18, you can either stay as a rent-paying guest or you can leave. So I went, I'm gone. So I took a gap year. I got into Cambridge University. I took a year off, went overseas and became a nanny. Then went and got my master's from Cambridge. And then I decided to travel. So I travelled and I worked and I went through Europe and I went through the US and then I ended up in Australia. And that's where I set up my first business. After not being able to find a job, so I did door-to-door sales, which was not my favourite thing to do, but tons of life lessons. And so I set up my own business, built a big business there and was doing really well, but I was bored. So I followed an ex-client up to Indonesia and spent 10 years working in Indonesia and all around Asia, built my second business, which was importing kangaroo leather and manufacturing and then re-exporting, as you do. That's where I met Roy, and he moved up to be with me, sensible man. We had Max, and after a year realised we didn't want to bring Max up in Indonesia. We wanted to move to Australia. So we went back to Australia and we bought a business and we were all excited and Max was going to be part of the business, and it was a disaster. So I found myself at 40 with Joe, brand new baby, and a business that was totally going down the tubes. So Roy had to go back into his, corporate life to fund things. And I was running an ailing business and had 2 children, no money for childcare. And at the same time, I thought, oh my goodness, I've got to have something to seg into. So built a new business. And at the same time, I thought, this is my midlife crisis. I've got to follow my passion. Money is not about money anymore. It's about family and it's about passion. And my passion was around nutrition for kids and food for children. So I went back to study and started to build a business around children's nutrition. Fast forward a little bit, Roy got offered a contract in New Zealand and I'm like, yeah, time to shake it up, let's move. And I'm thinking, I've got lots of friends in Auckland, it's going to be fabulous. And then it wasn't until the last minute he goes, oh, we're going to Wellington. I was like, I don't know anyone in Wellington. So we arrived in Wellington and then realised that despite the wind, it was actually paradise. So it was fabulous. So excited to be here. So we've now been here for 7 years and Roy gave me license to do my thing, go build a business, which I've done. So I've done tons of stuff around food and feeding and children and cooking, and it's led me into this path of picky eating, where I'm working with children who often really struggle to eat at all, and giving parents strategies to get their children from sort of over here where they are over to where parents would like them to be. And nothing lights me up more. Nothing has been, I've built loads of businesses, but nothing has been as rewarding. Nothing's been as exciting. And so that's where I'm up to now.
Awesome. Wow. Goodness. What an adventure.
So it has been, but it's been a life of many, many parts. Yes.
Oh, life though, isn't it? You're here for a very short time, so you've got to experience it, is my kind of,
Absolutely, absolutely. And my boys, of course, watch what I'm doing and see all of this happening, and it's really interesting how they're watching how a business grows and what goes into it and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
They'll have a different perception to what social media highlight reel probably shows off a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
Oh, it's good if they decide to go into business and they've got a really realistic expectation of what it will be.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
So is your business based in Wellington, or is it also, I guess, online, so people can contact you from anywhere?
Yeah, I work with people all over the world, but I mean primarily New Zealand based, but I work with a lot of people who aren't based in Wellington.
Yeah, awesome, cool. Judith, it's been quite interesting. Like we've had a few of these interviews now as part of the series, and it's very clear that the women who have been joining, sharing some of their journey, are very passionate about family and are really entwined with their kids and their partner, and wanting to ensure that their business works around their family, not their family working around their business. So how do you find that mixture? Because I personally don't have kids, but I've watched other people do the dance, and I just am in awe of how they can do that. So how do you dance with life whilst also, having the businesses that you've had, traveling, having your current business? How any tips or advice that you can give out there to our other mums who are very family driven but want that flexibility?
Oh, look, first thing is it's not easy. It's really not easy. And I mean, look, I've got a fabulous husband and he's quite happy to do things around the house and do things with the kids and all that sort of stuff. But even then, everything falls to me to coordinate. So, and because I'm at home, of course, then there's just those expectations just fall in your lap, so dinner's got to be on the table. That's my responsibility. And he understands that it's not, but still it sort of falls in my lap. And if school camps and doctor's appointments and all that sort of stuff just tend to just fall in your lap, so there's a lot of coordinating. And when my boys were young, the number of times when I was in a meeting and I've got a 3-year-old and a baby, and I'm trying to keep the baby quiet and I'm trying to keep the 3-year-old occupied, and I'm trying to concentrate on what's happening, and none of that's easy. But I've been able to go on school trips, and I've always been there, and my kids don't have to go into school holiday programs, and all of that sort of stuff. So it's always that juggle, and it's always and there's times when you're working late at night or early in the mornings to work around the kids. But as they get older, it gets easier and easier and easier. And because I've always worked, and I've always worked from home or been based from home, my boys know that when I'm on a phone call, they need to be quiet. And it's really great skill. So they understand that, oh, mum's on a business call, we've got to be quiet. And they know that. And we have a deal. So during school holidays, no school holiday programs for them, but they need to get dinner on the table, because then I'm able to, spend some time with them, but I'm able to work my normal hours. And so from the age of 7, my youngest was putting a full meal on the table, because that was part of the requisite, the requirements. And so it's actually been really great for them and their independence. And now they're 11 and 14, and I feel that it's my time. And that for them to see me having to commit to things and they're getting shuffled around a bit, it's actually a really positive thing for them, because life does not revolve around them as much as, obviously, they're the most important thing in the world to me. My life doesn't revolve around them, and it shouldn't revolve around them, and they shouldn't feel that my life revolves around them. So it's actually quite positive for me to say sometimes, well, you know what, sorry, I'm working, you're just going to have to figure it out. You're going to have to wait at the library. I'm not going to be there for an hour and a half. I'm sure you can read a book and amuse yourselves.
Yeah, great. I guess you've set some really great expectations and sharing the load, and not holding back on doing that, and treating them like the young adults that they are. And
absolutely, yes.
Yeah, which is, I guess it would be no different than if you had another, if you had a full-time job somewhere else, right? Like that would just be very similar. It's just different because you're at home.
Absolutely, and I think you have to set those boundaries, and I think you have to do it with partners and with children, and you have to say, well, yes, I know I'm here at home, but just because I'm here at home, I'm not necessarily at your beck and call.
Yeah. Yep. And that can be hard for people to understand too. It's like,
Yes.
when I was living over in Australia, of course, my parents, they knew I ran a business, but they didn't really know a lot about it. But then, of course, I came back and it's like, well, what do you mean, you guys? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I've got to go home. I'm going to do some work. It's like, well, can you do this and can you do that? And it's like, no, I actually have to go out and do some work. Like, there is not a money tree out the front of my house that only I've got. But it is different. I guess, you have to retrain people to understand that yes, they have flexibility. However, it needs some, adjustment. It's not a instant flexibility. There needs to be some boundaries.
Well, and also flexibility's fine, but if I commit 2 hours in the afternoon, that 2 hours needs to get made up somewhere else. So you have to understand that there is that 2 hours, and I don't want to be doing that starting at 11 o'clock at night because I'm going to kill myself.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Which leads me actually to the next question around balance.
Yes.
So I'm a very big, I wave the flag of balance, for mental health, for lifestyle. I'm a really big fan of it. That's come off the back of I used to not have that, and now I understand I've learned a very important life lesson, and the importance of balance and what happens if you do not have it. And there seems to be a bit of especially in the online world, where the 24/7 hustle took a massive, became very popular. And I think that there is some movement back to reality that 24/7 is not going to work for the long term. But how do you find balance in your life? Like, do you schedule it for yourself? Do you have specific time that you go, right? Or is it, okay, my brain's not working, I need to take some time out? Like, how do you find balance with a family business?
Well, I find that the family is actually really good for balance, because without the family, I'd probably have less balance because the family forces me to do certain things. And, there are certain things in our house that are pretty much inalienable. Like, so we have family dinner. That's our anchor point, and everyone has to be there. We're all there, and that includes me. And if I've got deadlines, then I have to schedule the dinner, the deadlines around that dinner. Now, every now and again, obviously, that doesn't work, but that's the goal, and that's how we work. Then I've got to do my exercise. So I get up at 5:15 every morning, because that's when I'm going to fit it in. That's what I do. And again, sorry, I'm going to do my exercise. That's how it works. And if it wakes my husband up, then that's a good thing, because he can also do some exercise. And I set myself targets so that I'm going to finish at a certain time. And then this is my downtime. So then there's no social media, there's no phone calls, there's nothing. This is my downtime, because you have to have that downtime, because otherwise, as you say, you go mad.
You do. You really do. I've nearly mad box. So
yeah. And I'm a bit of a workaholic, so I have to be really strict with myself and say, no, this is a different time.
Yeah. Again, I guess, you've highlighted it's really important to have a healthy boundary in that place.
Yes.
And I guess, one of the challenges for people if they're starting or they're growing a business from home is that I was actually just talking to a client of mine about this, because you're at home, it's quite easy to lose that. It's like, oh, I'll just quickly jump on my computer, or I'll just quickly read that message, or I'll just quickly do this.
I know.
And that starts spiraling out of control. And you really do have to be quite disciplined, and right, I'm going to get this done by then, and then you work to it, because we're all human. We know that we can meet deadlines most of the time, but then also be quite disciplined of, right, the phone's away, it's family time, it's family dinner, or whatever it can kind of be from that, and I'm not in work mode.
And I shut my computer down, and I don't pick up emails on my phone. I don't have that facility, and that's the reason why, because then the computer goes down, that's it. I can't do emails, so no one can hassle me, and it's and I turn off all notifications, and that's really good. And frankly, between 7:30 at night and 5:15 in the next morning, what is so urgent that I've got to respond to it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I figure that most of us aren't neurosurgeons, so the world won't end.
Absolutely. So, it's okay to just say, I'm off air now.
Yeah. No, I love that. So thank you for that. That's great. So I guess, we've spoken a lot around the amazing parts of the business and, being a mum and having to work around that, and the work that you've done to be able to kind of juggle it all and thrive while doing it. So what type of challenges would you say that you face?
In terms of family, or in terms of just the business itself, or?
Yeah, I guess well, I guess, maybe something that has, obviously your business is something that really it's a passion for you and it's a purpose. And sometimes life or business can be super challenging. So is there
Yeah.
anything that's come up that has kind of impacted you and been a really big challenge where you thought, oh, I'm not, this is going to be a bit of a tough one to get through, or how am I going to get through this one? And kind of had you in that, that beautiful overwhelmed space of, oh no, what am I going to do here?
Yeah. I'm very driven and I'm very goal oriented. So I tend to just want to just smash through roadblocks and not take them on. But, do I have moments where I feel, do I really want to do this? And of course, we all have those moments. And it doesn't matter how successful your business is or how good you are at it. There's always times when you go, actually, is this for me? Am I doing the right thing? I'm investing so much time and so much energy, and especially at the beginning, because you're pouring your heart and soul into it and you're not necessarily getting the returns, and you go, am I going in the right direction? Should I be doing this? And then, of course, you do often change direction, and then you sort of have to then throw 100% of it again to sort of re-go in that new direction. And so I do have those moments, but I think the challenge is always, firstly, the balancing. How do you balance everything that's going on in your life? And then it's the balance within the business, because when you're only one person, you're the marketing person, you're the salesperson, you're the phone chick, you name it, you're ticking all those boxes. And these days, I think it's worse because we're bombarded with, well, you need to be on this social media, you need to be doing this, and have you done that, and have you got your headshot, and have you got your website, and have you got your social media going, and have you got a newsletter list, and you're like, oh, and of course, every time you do one of these things, you have to learn, well, how do you do an email list? How do you build an email list? And then you start building it, and then you realize, actually, that's not as easy as I thought it would be. And then at the same time, someone's saying, oh, don't worry about the email list. You've got to do, your SEO on your website. And that's, I think, where it gets really, really difficult, because you're trying to just balance out, and there's 1,000 voices shouting at you. And every time you open an email, someone's telling you something different or something new, or
Yes.
Yeah. And how do you sort through all of that? And should you be doing Facebook ads? Should you be on Pinterest? The list goes on.
Absolutely. So that is actually a really great segue into what I'd love to ask you next.
All
so
right.
You've got so much experience in business, but it can be very overwhelming, whether you're a startup or even in the, the growth place of all the things. The latest tool or the latest marketing, must have is a podcast. So everyone has to get on board the podcast.
Yeah.
Then you've got to be doing the Facebook, and then you've got the Instagram, and now you've got TikTok. There are all these things out there.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. So what would be your advice around how to maybe pick something, or or what would be, I guess, your advice around, how to overcome, all the things coming at you, and how to choose what's going to be best for you?
I'm not very good at doing this, so I'll be the first to say that, because I'm a perfectionist, and because I want the business to be the best, and because I want to do the best personally, I feel like I have to do everything. And so I guess what I do is I've had to say, right, website, got to have the website, build the website, just not focus on, too much else. So what are my core things? Okay, I blog, I write, I do a lot of writing, I write for magazines, and I like writing, and I'm good at writing, and I communicate well through writing. Okay, so the blog, consistent, keep that going consistently. But what's my big thing? Okay, first thing, build the website. So start blogging, build the website. Okay, website's done, keep doing the blogging. What's the next thing? Okay, I should have, SEO on my website. Okay, let me fix the SEO, keep the blog going, make sure the website's, so it's trying to just say, okay, there's certain things that I think are the core part of my business and I think are my strengths, so I want to keep those going the whole time, and then I pick a bigger thing and say, right, let me focus on that. But then I open an email and I go, I know, I must.
I have to admit it too.
and I door her. I door her onto that, but yeah, I try to focus on that one big thing, but keep the core tenants going that are going to keep the business, ticking over.
And I think what you have kind of highlighted there is that you focused first on what you really loved and started with that. And for you, it was writing. So therefore a blog made an article writing. And then it was like, right, I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. And it was, you were enjoying the process. It was like, okay, so what do I need next in my business for my brand? And then you obviously then made a logical decision. Okay, well, I'm going to go with the website. Yeah. Someone else might decide on something else. Who knows? And then it was like, okay, now I've got that. I'm still doing what I love, and I have sorted out, my main goal. And now what's my next goal? But while still maintaining that one original platform and the tool that you really love and you connect with your ideal clients through.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it's really important. And, and I guess as well, you probably agree with me here, is that we may all decide on one different thing to start with, and then one second thing could be
absolutely.
Things. Yeah.
There's no, one thing, and some people are awesome on video, so do the videos. I like writing, and it's my thing, so why not leverage that?
Yeah, focus on your strengths, as you said, and then go forth and learn all the bright and shinies.
Yeah.
And then just keep them all juggling. That's the fun part, is going, right, now I've added the next thing. How does it all
but for me, the blog is a non-negotiable. So that just always keeps going, and even when I'm on holidays, I've set up my blog so that they keep going, because that for me is important.
Yeah. So pick your one platform that you love and then keep that going.
And then just keep that going and be really, really consistent around that.
Yeah.
Even when you feel like you're shouting from the rooftops and no one's listening.
Yep. Because it takes a while, right?
It does take a while, and you feel like often you're talking and no one's listening.
Yeah. So, but I guess, as you mentioned, if you're playing to your strengths and you're doing what you love, you are still going to be motivated and driven to keep doing it. Whereas if you didn't like, doing videos and you picked that as your first thing, and you'd be hitting your head against a brick wall every day because you wouldn't be enjoying the process, and you would be going, well, where is everyone? And you wouldn't like it. And
I've been a very reluctant video person because I don't actually like watching them myself, and I was really awkward on camera, and it was really uncomfortable for me, and I used to take 75 takes to get anything that was even, but funnily enough, the more you do it, that now I go, all right, I've got to do a video. Oh, here we go. And actually it's a lot more comfortable. I'm not saying I'm great on video, but it's okay, and I don't mind doing it. I just go, okay, I've got to bang out video. Let's just do a video. And so it's not my natural habitat, and it's not something I'd say I was particularly good at, but people watch them. So once you've mastered your strengths, then it's okay to practice the things that are, that are maybe not your forte, but could, build the business. And I always thought video, I really should be doing the video, so I've got to learn to do it. But it's taken a long time to get to the point where I go to look at my video and go, actually, that's not so bad. The first ones are like, oh, but I still put them up there because action is often better than inaction. And although I'm a perfectionist, I also say, well, hang on, it's better to have something going and be communicating than not.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't let perfection beat you, otherwise you'll never get anywhere.
You'll never get anywhere, absolutely.
Yeah. So cool, thanks. So what about for our women who have started their business and I guess maybe they're finding it challenging. They've started it, they've got young kids, maybe they're still working in another alternative job, and it is taking, realistically, I think they say it takes around 3 to 5 years to really start to see the momentum in a business. And if you've been in a business for 3 to 5 years, you actually go, oh, they're not lying. They haven't made that up.
No, absolutely not.
And so for those that are out there, you know, they're maybe in that first or second year and they're just really, I guess, struggling to find that motivation to keep on going, do you have any advice for them?
Okay, if you're really, really passionate about it, then, you know, follow your dreams. Always follow your dreams. In fact, my mum sent me a birthday card. Always follow your dreams. And so I keep that right here next to my desk. So I think that's really important. But I think you've also got to look at the metrics. So is your business really viable? Do the numbers stack up? You know, have you done your market research? You know, if your business is floundering, you need to say, has it actually got legs? You know, and maybe you need someone who's a bit more objective to step in and have a look at the figures and say, yes, it's got legs or it hasn't. If it has got legs, even if you're not making any money, and even if it's really, really challenging, and even if things are going wrong, and even if you're finding the juggle a nightmare, if you've got the passion and long term it's got legs, just go for it.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, Judith, part of this series, as I mentioned at the start, is really about, you know, being a champion of change, whether that be any area of life. It doesn't necessarily have to be business. I am a big fan of empowering women to, you know, have the dream, have the passion, do what you want to do because it lights you up and to have a great time.
Yeah.
How about you? Like, what would champion of change mean to you?
You find something that you're passionate about, but that could be improved, and you set out to improve it. That's it.
Simple.
Yeah, it's simple. No, I mean, really. And, you know, one person can make a difference. And so, you know, I'm a firm believer that that one person, and we look around the world, Greta Thunberg, there's a lot of examples of people where it's really one person, but they've impacted the world. Even in today's world, we can make a big difference. And so if you are passionate about something, go make the difference.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And finally, you know, I guess if we have had a wonderful woman or a man watch or listen to this, our time together, and they're interested in understanding more about what the Confident Eater is all about, maybe they've got some fussy kids and they need some help, or potentially they have related to your story and they just would love to reach out for a little bit of advice or to connect, how is it best for people to reach you?
You can always contact me directly, Judith@theconfidenteater.com, or hit the website www.confidenteater.com, and that will take you to see me. And I've got a very active Facebook page, so that's theconfidenteater.com, with tons of information on it, like tons of advice and tons of help. So that's probably the best way to connect.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, Judith, thank you again for your time. I absolutely love your energy and I love your passion, and you know, and I've absolutely loved our time together, and thank you for sharing, you know, your business journey and life journey, like what, as I mentioned at the start, like what an experience. But also, you know, sharing some of your insight with our audience, for those that are thinking about taking that leap of faith, or they have, and they're in the land of I'm not sure what to do. Inspiring, just if you love it, keep going, because, you know,
absolutely,
why not?
Yes, yeah, that's right. Well, thanks so much for having me on here. It's been really good fun. So yes,
Talk to you.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Judith.
Bye.